Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Stamping Fun with Donna. I'm Donna, and I'm glad you're going to be spending some time with me today. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do one card 3 ways using the Poinsettia Petals bundle from the August to December 2020 mini catalog. Why one card 3 ways? Well, sometimes you might not have as many supplies or as much time, and you want to do a quick and easy but still special card. Other times, you might want to make something a little bit more sensational and put a little bit more effort into it. Still, other times, there's a very special occasion and you might want to make a spectacular card. So I use the same stamps and the same basic layout and show you how to make all 3 of those cards. So today, we're going to be using the Poinsettia Petals. So let's head over to the stamping table and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we have the special card. Now, usually when I make a special card, I don't use the dies because not everybody has the die cutting machine. But this one looks so wonderful and so special that I used it with the die cutting machine. You can, however, use it with the stamps. And I have one to show you that I made with just the stamps, stamped real red ink on real red cardstock, popped it up with a Stampin' Dimensional. So I could show you can do it even if you don't have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But if you don't, you should get it because it's really amazing. So here's the special card. This one is the sensational card. As you can see, we added to it. We added another layer and we added some Heartwarming Hugs designer series paper, and which is absolutely gorgeous. Every page of this is gorgeous. It's also found in the mini catalog. And then finally, we have the spectacular card, which is a fun fold because fun folds, everybody loves fun folds. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull out the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and go ahead and get started. So today, because I'm using the Poinsettia Petals, which I'll show you in just a second, I'm using the magnetic plate. You can do this if you don't have magnetic plate with the acrylic, but I'll show you why I think it's better if you have the magnetic plate. So there's plate number 1, plate number 2, and instead of plate number 3, we're using plate number 5, the magnetic plate. And I'm going to put a piece of real red cardstock on it. Now, here are the dies, or some of the dies, from the set. What we are going to be doing in order to make the flower is to have 3 different poinsettias cut out of 3 different sizes and then layer them. The poinsettia dies come with both an inside and an outside. You can use them separately. You can stamp the poinsettia and cut it out with this one, which is the cutout one. You can use this one to just emboss the inside. Or if you use them together, what you do is you place them like this, put them on the page together, and it embosses and cuts them out at the same time. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's go ahead and get these in. Now these actually are not exactly the same. Each of the petals is not exactly the same. So you just have to move it around and get it into the right place. Some people will mark it so that they know where it goes, but there's only 5 different petals, so there's only 5 ways it can go. So it's not that big of a deal. And now let me get this one. See, it's sticking to the magnetic part of the magnetic plate. Let me go ahead and turn that one over because you obviously need the cutting and embossing side down, and turn that one over. And then I just make sure that they're centered. The inside is centered within the outside. And then this one, we just need to fit this one in the correct way as well. Let me turn it, see if this is better. Turn it again. You know, law is that it's always the last one, but there we go. We got it in 3. Okay, let me get that one all set. And I want to check this one. I'm not sure this one is in the right way. Let me make sure that we get this one in properly. Okay, so is that it? That looks like it. Okay, so put it like that on there. All right, now what we're going to do is to cover it with an acrylic plate, plate number 3, and just send it through the machine. I want to make sure that it's completely covered. It moved on me. Now, if you don't get it completely underneath the acrylic plate, it's not going to cut and it's not going to emboss. So the whole thing needs to be underneath that plate. There we go. Now let me set the machine aside and I will show you how these come out. They are so easy and beautiful. At least with the magnetic plate, the top ones seem to come off, the bottom ones get stuck. Okay, and there you go. 1, 2, 3. Those are absolutely stunning. So let me get them off the plate and we'll go ahead and put the card together. That's all you pretty much need to do for this card. There's one stamp we're putting in. I think it's just one stamp. Let me see. Nope, there's 2 stamps we're going to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do to put the flower together is to use the glue dots. The glue dots are awesome for small projects like this. So all you have to do is to find a dot, press this in the center. I'm actually going to put 2 on each of these because I find that these can move if you don't. So there's 2, and I see that I missed. So I got it outside the flower. Let me move that one over. There we go. And then before I put it down, I want to go ahead and curl the leaves. So I'm going to just use my bone folder and just curl them just a little bit like this. It just gives it that much more interest, visual interest, and it pops it up a little bit. It might go down a little bit if you send it in the mail, but it still adds to it. And then what we do is we put this on offset like that. Okay, and then we have the big one as well. I'm just going to curl these edges for just a second. It just takes one little flick there, no big deal at all. And now we're going to take the glue dots again. There's one right here, and stick it on the back here, and stick a second one so I can get a second place. And then we're going to offset it as well here, like, let's see, I think I like it better that way. There we go. So now we have this beautiful flower, beautiful poinsettia, and it really doesn't take much time at all. Is to take the rest of the paper that I have already cut. So I pre-cut 1 sheet of real red just by cutting it straight down the middle. And this one I'm going to fold in half, and that's our card base. It opens this way. We're doing it differently than I usually do. And now what we're going to do is we have 2 pieces of shimmery white that are already pre-cut as well. Don't worry about getting the sizes. I always put it on my blog. So rather than having to worry about knowing the sizes now and writing them down and then knowing where that piece of paper is again, you can just go to my blog, stampingfunwithdonna.com/blog, and all the sizes will be there. So for the one on the outside, what we're going to do is to stamp "May Magic and Wonder Bloom This Holiday." And we're just going to ink it up in real red, like so, and stamp it down here in the corner. Now it's better to stamp it before you put it on the card, in case, like that, I didn't get it quite even. And there's 2 sides to every paper. So I'm just going to turn it over and stamp it a second time. And hopefully that'll be better, much better, I like that better. And then for this one goes on the inside. And I've been stamping some of the small flower on the inside in the real red as well. So I'm going to take the small, or actually I guess it's not a small flower, but it's a flower stamp. It's a poinsettia flower stamp. And you want to put something underneath it to protect your work surface. And then just stamp right here in the corner, partly off and partly on. And that's for the inside. So let me set this back aside. We can put the card together now. Using the liquid glue, I'm going to go ahead and just get some glue on the back here. And because it kind of smushed here, let me go ahead and spread it so it doesn't smush out of the paper at all. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right here, centered on the inside. Take this and my stamping dimensionals and pop. Actually, let me go ahead and glue this one on first. because that way it'll be better when I go to pop it up. So I'm going to glue the white sheet with the sentiment on it right here in the middle of the front as well. And now I'm going to take the poinsettia that we made, and I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals, maybe a couple of them, to make sure it gets on there nice and good and doesn't come off, and maybe one more, just for good time's sake. There we go. Put this one here and peel this off. This goes here. Just press down where the Stampin' Dimensionals are to get it on. Now we're going to use the Gilded Gems, which are from the annual catalog. They're actually with the Forever Greenery suite. Put one in the center, put a couple here on the side, maybe one down here in the corner, and you've got a special card. See how beautiful that was? And it really is not very time consuming and doesn't take too much to do. Now we're going to go ahead and make the sensational card. So again, I've pre-cut things. You don't have to see me doing the same things I've already done. So I've pre-cut things to make it go a little bit faster. And here I have the cutout poinsettia petals. I have my piece of real red cardstock, which I've already pre-scored. And I have this piece here for the outside and this piece for the inside. Plus there's another little piece right here for the sentiment right there. So what we're going to do here is put together the flower again. So let me just quickly do that for you. Again, I'm just going to just flick these just a little bit, and the same with this, and then the very last one. And you don't have to be very precise about this at all. You don't have to be precise in the slightest about this. Just get it all flicked up. And now again, I'm going to take the glue dots and I'm going to press down, press up, get a second one so it'll stay better. Press down, press up. Put this on the next size up, and then take this whole thing, press down, press up, and press down, press up, and put this on this whole thing. And there's our flower. What we're going to do is to glue it on the side. And again, all the dimensions and the directions are on my website at stampingfunwithdonna.com/blog. So go there to get these pre-cut sizes right there. And now what we're going to do is take the small piece and ink up the sentiment. There we go. And what we're going to do is line it up, press down, press up, and there you go. So what we're going to do here is to take this piece, and you can see I practiced on the back, and just glue like this and put it right here. And take the flower and the Stampin' Dimensionals and place the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of the flower. Again, I'm going to put just a few so that I know it stays and that it won't come off in the mail. And one more. And there we go. And put this right here. Now you want to make sure that you can read all the words, but I like it when it goes over onto the white a little bit. So I like it when it looks like that. Now what we're going to do is take some more Gilded Gems, place one in the center, and place two up here, maybe even three, because I like the rule of thirds. It flew off onto my shirt, so there we go. All right, and one more. And now we have the middle piece, which we're going to again stamp the same flower that we did for the other one. So ink it up using the real red. do the flower partly on, partly off, press down, press up, and we have a beautiful flower for the inside. So we're going to again use the liquid glue and glue this onto the inside of the card with the flower in the lower right hand corner. And place this here, press down, and here is our sensational card. Didn't take that much more, but it does look that much more beautiful. One card to go, which is a fun fold, which is always a lot of fun. So what I did here is I have the same card base, again scored in the middle. I can go ahead and fold it and burnish it, and we have the card base. We're going to take the piece of Heartwarming Hugs designer series paper and glue it to the side. Actually, before we glue it to the side, I want to cut a piece off. So let me set this aside for just a second. Now you can see that this one opens like this, right? So that's been cut off. So what I do is I want to cut off all but 3 inches. I know it's 5.5, so I'm going to cut off 2.5 inches right here, like that, and just cut it like that. That's all there is to that part. Set that back aside. Now, this sheet should fit perfectly on here. Just like that. Okay, and now we need to put the piece of white inside. So for the piece of white, I've also cut and scored it like that, and I'm going to be placing it inside like this. Let me go ahead and put the glue on, like so, and just place this right inside here. Now normally what you would want to do is to put, I have a stamp there as well, is you would want to stamp that first. But I had a little bit of wayward glue on here, and so I wanted to get it down. So what I'm going to do instead is to use a piece of scrap like this, and also put a piece of scrap right here. And then what I'm going to do is to ink up the flower again and stamp it right here. And I've covered up the bottom and I've covered up the side, so it will only get on the piece of shimmery white where we want it to be. Just like that. Okay, so that part is done now, and this is the fold. So it's a lot easier than it looks. We do have to stamp the sentiment there. And the one thing I do here is I've tried stamping the sentiment before I put it on here, but then sometimes you can't read the whole sentiment because I stamp it in the wrong spot. So instead, what I like to do is to place it on here, place a piece of scrap on so I don't get it on the card, line it up so I know it's in the right spot, and stamp straight down and straight up. And then you know you can see the whole thing when you shut it. Then we're going to take the flower, and for this one, I actually have already put together a flower, so we will use that so that we are not here all day, and put the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. And again, I will just put a couple just to make sure that it stays and doesn't come off, because that would be so sad to have this card without the poinsettia petals. Okay, there we go. And now I want to fold this up and place, before I put that down, I am going to be using some gold thread. And this is from the Forever Greenery Suite. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to loop it in big loops so that it'll show from behind the flowers. And I'm going to take a piece of the glue dots and I'm going to place it where I'm going to place the flower. There we go. So let me just pull this off with my fingers, put it down here, and then I'm going to just put these loops on top. And I lost the loops, so let me just quickly do that again. Again, you want to make them pretty big because the flower is pretty big and it needs to come out And then I'm just going to place the center here right on top of that glue dot. See if I can loop this back down like this. This is not in the slightest a precise science. Actually, I'm going to leave that and just cut it off. Let me redo these loops. Now that I have it on here, I see I made them actually a little bit too big. So these loops are not a precise science at all. You just loop them around however you think you want them and stick it right on the center there and stick this one back here. Make sure it gets on there. Okay, and now what we're going to do is to take the flower and just stick it, put this here so I can see how it goes. Put that like that. And there you go. You have the gold from behind the gold loops from behind the flower sticking out. You have the sentiment here. And all we need left is just a couple of gilded gems. So I'll put one there. I'll put one here. And I'll put one here. And there's your spectacular card. I think I might cut this a little bit just because it does fray beautifully, but I think there's just a little bit too much fraying right now for that. So there we go. There's our spectacular card. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked seeing all three of these cards, the spectacular card, the sensational card, and the special card. So drop me a line. Let me know if you liked it. Please visit stampingfunwithdonna.com. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd be happy to be your demonstrator and have the chance to earn your business. You can use the contact me page if you need anything. You can go to my blog and see everything about this. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. Bye.